How you doing, Miss White? How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for agreeing to be a part of my channel and interviewing with me.
I'm just an ordinary guy. Received my GED while I was in the penitentiary.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh,
I'm a I'm a father of eight, four boys and four girls. I'm married. Been married 11 years.
okay.
Been married 13 years with my wife. When I got my wife, she had two children. I had four, and then we had two together.
While you were incarcerated, you said you received your GED, which is General Education Diploma, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did they offer any other types of schooling while you were incarcerated?
Yes and no. I was short. I was labeled as a short timing. So the
Okay.
program that I wanted to get in, I really couldn't get in.
Okay.
But
Okay.
that still didn't stop me from sending flights or kites to the warden, stating that I want, since I'm being incarcerated and I'm having like 4 or 5 months left, I still wanted to try to do something while I was there. I just didn't want to stay stagnant. Not
Okay.
Yes, it's nonviolent. In '94, I caught 3 drug trafficking cases. In '95, I caught 3 more.
Okay.
I was at my brother's house. I was on a run for the last one. I was on my brother's house. It was my birthday, October the 9th, and I was partying that week. I was partying that weekend. So the bounty hunters called my brother. Now, he's a brother that I never listed, nothing, no home,
Wow.
no address, no telephone, no nothing. So the bounty hunters called and said, asked to speak to Trip. So they said, which one? He said, Ceylon triplet, and gave me the phone. And he said, I know you partying for your weekend. I said, yeah. He said, well, this is the bounty hunter, blah, blah, blah. He said, just turn yourself in Monday. I said, okay. So.
So that's interesting. You never listed this brother, but they were still able to find you, locate
Correct.
you. Oh,
Correct.
wow. Interesting. I actually wanted to be a private investigator in Florida, and I did a little bit of research to see how to do that, but I never did it.
Okay. Well, the past is actually shaped my future for the best. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, like I said, I've always been a go-getter.
Okay.
But I was going to get the stuff the wrong way.
Okay.
But I knew I had to do it the right way.
Okay.
So my past caught up with me. I knew I couldn't run no more. So that actually set me down to be a father to my children. As far as me being home with the children, I was not, because I was too busy running the street selling drugs. But when I came home, that actually made me stay home with the children more often than when I was out, because, like I said, I was running the street selling drugs.
So it was kind of like a blessing in disguise.
Yes, it was. Yes, up in Cleveland, I used to work for this Cleveland Memorials, engrave headstones and monuments. Worked at FedEx, NASA John Glenn,
Oh,
American
wow.
Red Cross. So yeah,
Okay.
it didn't come easy. It came with a price tag,
Okay.
But you just don't give up. You just don't give up. I mean, I had many doors closed on me.
Okay.
Many doors. I mean, back then they was filing my application in my face. They were just throwing it in the garbage right there in my face, saying that, saying they won't hire me. There's nothing I can do about it. There's one man at this company no longer in business. When I went to him, I interviewed, he like, Mr. Triplet, and keep in mind, my resume was nothing.
Okay.
It was just 2. It was when I worked at Big Floors when I was 16, 17, and Jerry's Barbecue. That's it.
Wow.
But I worked at Jerry's Barbecue for over 10 years. So that's what he said. You know what, Mr. Triplet's like, I like your resume because you've been at a company for so long. He said, but we just can't hire you. He'd been honest with me. But since he said that, he motivated me even more. At least it was one person that took his time out to talk to me instead of just falling it in my face. So that just pushed me even more and more and more just to do better and to get better.
So how were you able to escape falling back into doing the same thing? Like, was it like church, or like was someone speaking positively into your life that prevented you from going back to doing the same thing?
Trust and believe, when I came home, when the money ran low, there was no problem for me, somebody fronting me something to put in my hand. And I almost got knocked the same way when I ran. I just stopped doing it. And that wake up call right there, when I wasn't doing nothing, but I was in the wrong place at the right time, because that really was an eye opener, because I was coming from playing basketball and they had a major drug sweep. And I had my backpack, the basketball in my hand, and I had my gym shoes around my neck, and I wanted to stop to get something to eat. Then I wanted to say I wanted the project hallways to eat, and they were doing a drug bust. So I went down with everybody that they caught. So when I came home the next morning, they straight released me. They was just, I went home to my girlfriend then, and she was just like, you got to do better. And I was doing better, but like I said, the money had ran out. And that's when I just put my foot to the floor and just started just constantly looking. Like I said, many doors closed, but one open, then another one open, then another one open. Each time it got better. Well, first of all, they have to educate themselves.
Okay.
They have to get something, a GED, go get some type of certificate. You need something. Go get your truck drivers, like go get your CDLs.
Right.
Go do something. And then when the doors do close, still, and I say this to all the young men that I mentored, still look forward, because it's gonna be some days that's gonna be rough. It's gonna be some days that you wish that you need a break. There's gonna be some days that when you go to one company and one company set you up for an interview, then you go to another company, set you up for an interview, and another company set you up for an interview, and you're having 3 or 4 interviews, and it makes you feel good, builds your confidence up.
Right.
But also at the same time, you also need somebody that's behind you, motivating you, because sometimes you can't motivate yourself. Sometimes you need somebody to give you that little extra push to say, son or brother or husband, you can do it.
The young man that was just killed in Atlanta, Rayshard Brooks?
Yes.
He was being interviewed by some organization, and one of the things that he mentioned is that upon release, people should have a mentor, and that a probation officer or parole officer is not a mentor, which is correct. He says there should be someone on the outside that can mentor you and show you the ropes. Would you say that would be something that would be useful for people who have been released from prison and they're trying to find their way?
Yes, and there's a big no behind it too, because sometimes people that's released from prison, that's the only thing that they know. I don't want nobody to hold me to it, but sometimes people are just institutionalized, and that's the only thing they know.
Okay.
So you trying to speak a positive word to them, sometimes it falls on deaf ear.
Right.
But sometimes some people actually gets it.
Well, that's just like anything. You can't save everybody, and you definitely can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved, or help someone who doesn't want to be helped.
Yeah. Well, it starts at home. It starts with the mother and father. If the mother and father is not together, it starts with the father or the mother. You have to be on the same page, giving these children and how you speak to these children in their life. If you speak negative on them, that's the only thing they'll grow up seeing negative and hearing negative. They want to do negative. If you speak life into them, you can do it. A thank you goes a long way. You could do a son, you could do a daughter. You're so smart, you're bright. Of all the kids that's in the room, you're the smartest, because you see what's going on today. Kids out here listen to this music in their mind, that's how they want to be. And when I'm saying kids, I'm talking about 30, 29, 28, 27. This is what they want to do. They want to smoke the weed, which that's what they want to do. That's cool. But then you tell them, help that elderly lady up the stairs. You don't want to do it. So it's a big problem in today's Black America as far as men trying to help these young men. Because here, I'm 52 years old. I still need help myself to this day. And I have a spiritual father, and I actually have good men that's we actually get together, we talk on the phone, and we discuss stuff. Life matters, and we just motivate each other. And believe I be motivating some guys that's 60 years old. It's one complete circuit. It keeps going back and forth. It's continue to get paid forward.
Now, what about for people who don't have that? Like my kids, for instance, they didn't have a father, but they have a mother. Or sometimes you have a father and not a mother, and sometimes you don't have either. Are there things that you could suggest for people like that?
Like I said, I'm speaking on experience because from my mentoring group that I'm in, when they didn't have fathers, I was there.
Okay.
I seen 4 young men go to the service, not because of me, it's because of us. You know,
okay.
We actually went down there in the pits with them and helped them. See, it's easy to walk up to a person and say, I'm willing to help you, but you have to show and prove. Instead of doing all of this, you have to show and prove. And they're watching. And as soon as you make a mistake, they can say, well, you didn't do it this way, they wanted it done this way. But you try to take it one step at a time to show them that there is a better way. And I understand where you're coming from when you're saying that your daughters didn't have no father figures. And I was part of this dads and daughters social. When young ladies didn't have a father, hey, some took heed to what I was saying, and some just branched off. But I still have a report with a lot of them. They not got grown and gone now, but I still have a good report with a lot of them. But it's not easy. It's not easy. Okay.
Did you ever see the documentary called Waiting for Superman?
No, never heard of it.
Okay, if you ever get a chance, it used to be on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on there, but it was really heartbreaking. It had to do with the No Child Left Behind Act and funding, and it showed how like certain funding, when you send your children to not private, but the charter schools, that the state takes that money away from public schools and funds the charter schools. So the kids that are left in the public schools now, like they have crappy books, outdated books, and basically it just sets them up for failure. And most of those schools obviously are in Black communities. So you kind of set kids, Black kids or brown kids, on a path to prison. And it's more detailed than that.
Yes, I really do. It takes more than just 5 men, 5 women. It takes more than a village. It takes all of us to be as one. That means, and I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart, but when I was coming up, we always had a big mama that was sitting on the porch somewhere.
Yeah.
We always had somebody that, if you did something wrong on the street, that your parents will find out.
Right.
Now we don't have that.
Right.
That's long gone. Now you can't tell the children to stop what they're doing. They want to run home and tell their parents or their mother, their father. Now they want to come down there and argue. A lot of stuff starts at home first. So when we get that good education, it starts at home. Every day is not picking up this and playing games. You got to learn how to do your ABCs and count 1, 2, 3. You got to learn how to put words together like Letterman. You have to do that. When we was coming up, we had educational stuff that was on TV. When we left off at school, Saturday mornings picked up where school left off. That's not there no more. Since I have a couple of relatives that's scholars, that's a principal and a teacher. They saying the exact same thing. They've taken all the funding money from the Cleveland public schools, they give it to the charter schools.
Right.
And then when you go to the charter schools not doing no better. So which one of the lessons two evils?
I have a friend that grew up on 93rd and she does not speak poor English. I think sometimes it has to do, like you said, with the parents and how involved they are in your education. But I also think that, the kids have to want to know.
I spoke with a young man, and the word that came out of his mouth, he called me old school. He said, we don't understand the young guys, because he thought I was like his age, 35. You just don't understand. We try to talk to some of these old men, the older siblings, but they put us down. But I'm trying to explain to him, you have an old man like me, since I'm old school, and try to talk to you, you don't want to hear it. So I gave him an example, and it really touched him. I said, now, if I see 6 guys with their pants hanging down with dreads in their hair, and they got hoodies on. You think I'm walking on the same sides of the street? He said no. And I said, well, explain to me why I'm gonna walk on the same side of the street. He said, because you prejudging us. I said, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm prejudging, and it's my fault. And I said, I shouldn't have to prejudge. I should be able to walk down that street knowing that you're gonna respect me. You're not gonna do nothing to me, or if my son with me, or my daughter, my wife with me. But as you see it on camera all the time. Guys walking down the street, and you have the guys with the dress in their hair, pants hanging down on the side with the hoodies on. They want to start a fight, and they're totally lost. Day in and day out, it's the same thing. And then the first thing that comes out their mouth is, why don't nobody give me a chance? I did the exact same thing when I was coming up. But it starts right here. When you know different and you do different, you start thinking differently, you're going to start doing different stuff.
Right.
Respect gonna come. It's gonna come. You just can't sit around doing negative and expect something positive to happen. It don't work like that.
True. So what do you suggest? I got into an argument one time with a friend of mine. He's African. And a lot of times Africans, I won't say all Africans, but some Africans have this opinion of us. And we have an opinion of them as well, both negative. But this particular person, we were arguing because basically he was saying something like he views some African Americans as lazy. And I was offended. I'm like, hey, we made it so y'all could come here. If we didn't go through everything we went through, dying, getting lynched, and civil rights and all that, you couldn't even be here. And he says to me, like, why can't they do better? Why can't they go to school and better themselves? And I said, they can. However, go over there and talk to someone who doesn't have a mother, doesn't have a father, maybe living with a grandma or somebody like that. There's very little money in a home. They're starving. They want the latest clothes or whatever. And the quickest way to make money is what?
Selling drugs.
Right. Go tell that person, hey, why don't you go to school for 4 or more years? Then you can have, they're not going to listen to that because that's not their environment, number one. And number two, the need is immediate. So you can go over there and say that, and that would be nice. And hopefully they'll listen. But sometimes I feel like some of the people you just can't help. But then you have people like you who are a good example. To me, it sounds like what you did was you never gave up. You changed your mindset. You had a positive mindset, and then you involved yourself with certain people, positive people now, and maybe before, who you mentor and that also mentor you and uplift you.
I can honestly say I don't do this to get no recognition. I'm not saying that I'll go out there and get 20 guys. If I could just get one,
right,
that's all it takes, one. And that one gonna bring another one.
Right.
And that another one gonna bring another one. And that another one bring another one. It's just like you know who Judge William Dawson is up here?
No.
Judge William Dawson, he has this book called The Cycle Breaker.
Okay.
It's right here.
Okay.
He's pleading the judge.
Okay.
And I stepped in one day and I was listening to what he was saying. Being that cycle breaker that we are, okay?
Okay.
We already like this in the penitentiary.
Okay.
But why can't we stand firm like this out here in the streets? When I'm saying standing firm, I'm talking about really being my brothers, and I have my brothers back. And when I'm saying my brother, I'm not saying no biological brother. I'm talking about a young man that's 25 that needs help. And what do we need help with? Maybe he needs help with money. Maybe he just needs that encouraging word. Maybe he just needs somebody just to sit down, don't say nothing, and just listen. Sometimes that's all it takes to get them guys motivated. Now, I can't speak on the young ladies, but from the young ladies that I deal with, not having a father figure in their life, that hurts. That really, really hurts. Yeah. That really hurts. And they morals and it just went down the drain. So we give them a hug and show them that, hey, I care. And I really do. And I really did care, That meant a lot to them than their own father. Because their own father never gave them a hug, told them they was beautiful. You you're gonna be something there in your life. You're gonna make somebody's happy when you get married to them. Encouraging words. Encouraging words.
Even my father, who was there, my father was there, and he didn't tell me those things. He didn't tell me anything. I just like whoever was fun, you know. My father didn't say, "Look, this is the type of man." So even when you are there, you still need to tell them these things. Because my dad did not do that. Sorry, Dad, but you didn't do that. Like, he did not do it. He didn't really too much talk to me. Actually, it was like more him like barking orders at me or intimidating me, but he didn't really too much talk to me. You know, he was a provider, and I thank him for that. He had a presence in the home, and I thank him for that. But he really didn't talk to me.
You got to surround yourself around positive people. That's
Right.
that's one of the main ingredients. And I'm not gonna get spiritual because some people are not spirit fed, which
Right.
I totally understand. But surround yourself around somebody that's like minded,
Okay.
go getters. When I had my children at first, I was a terrible husband, but I was a hell of a father. Divorced. Got my wife now, we have 2 kids. And that's one thing I can say about my wife now. She said, this is how it's going to be. This is what I'm going to accept. This is what I'm not going to accept. I'm going to love your children like my own, and you're going to love my children like your own, which I never had no problem with that anyway. And learn how to think for yourself. Don't let nobody think for you. When somebody say no, that should motivate you to go farther.
Okay.
Because like a lot of doors was closed on me, but I just didn't give up. And I tell everybody, once you have these interviews and you keep going to interview after interview after interview, it begins to get more easier and easier and easier. And may I say, once you get that first job or that first interview, by all means, you have to dress. Not dress to impress. Shirt, tie, look decent. Please, because that receptionist, that is your first interviewer right there. She'll see how you walk in. Do you speak to people? Or he'll see how you walk in. Do you speak to people? They leave magazines down to see which one you pick up. They have like a Sports Illustrated, or they have like the Time. I go in there, I pick up the Time, and not knowing that some of the people that was interviewing me, that was them behind the desk. So they watch my body language. They watch how I spoke to different people. So you never know who you cross in the streets. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Start doing it. When you start doing it, it begin to roll off your tongue a lot easier. Walk with your head up. Don't have your head down. Speak clearly. Dot your I's and cross your T's when you're speaking. Thank you, ma'am. No, ma'am. You need that job. You there to get that job. So it may be you and 50 other people. So you got to win out. You got to show them that you really mean business. You got to be punctual. You got to be reliable. You got to speak the words into existence. When they ask you a question, I'm coming to work every day. If my car breaks down, I'm catching the bus. And I can, Miss White, I tell you, my wife will tell you right now, we had 2 cars and our car broke down. When my car broke down, I was walking to work. My kids seen their father get up and go to work. Sometimes I can walk to work. I left at 1 o'clock in the morning just to get there at 3:30. But this is something that I had to do. My kids actually seen it, and they see me walk home from work. Sometimes I got dropped off, but hey, it is what it is. It got rough, and many days, I'm trying to tell everybody, many days that my kids ate good, and I ate bologna sandwiches. I ate cornflakes for dinner, and I will still continue to do it to this day because they represent me. For all the people out there, just don't give up. Just continue to try to do better. Get around some people that's like-minded. That's very, very critical, man. Listen, these people are smoking this weed, and they is thinking that, I got fake urine. I can do this. We could do that. Hair samples, that's one of them. And if you really want a $17, $18 hour job, who would you think about it? $18 an hour with benefits or a dime bag of weed?
Right.
Which one is more important?
Right. Mm.
And you think that, they're not going to take these tests, and they will. They will.
I would like to piggyback off of something you said. Back when I first got my first job at a law firm in Akron, when I walked into that law office, the receptionist, I don't know what it was, but she liked me. So she gave me a business card. Now, I didn't understand at the time why she gave me this business card, okay? But I'll tell you why. So she gave me a business card for the place where I was interviewing, which was kind of odd because it's like, it has your contact information, their address. And I'm like, okay, I already know the address I got here. I already know the name because I'm here. So like, why did she give it to me? But I said nothing and I didn't think about it. So she gave me this business card. So they interviewed me. And then I interviewed with the partners first. And then I interviewed with the associate attorney. And then after that, they put me through a series of tests. One of the tests, I had to write a letter, and I had to write it in block format. So I pull out the business card so I can get their address, and I type up the letter with the information that the lady gave me that was on the business card. Okay. After I got the job, the receptionist told me, she's like, I really liked you when you walked in. She's like, so I knew they were going to have you do this like typing test, writing up the letter. One of the partners' last names was McDowell, and most of the time when you see the name McDowell, it's spelled McDowell, but hers wasn't spelled like that. And she said it was her pet peeve that when people would draft a letter that they would misspell her last name because they didn't pay attention to detail. So the chick wanted to make sure I spelled her name right, so she gave me the business card, and as a result of her giving me that business card, I spelled her name correctly. Otherwise, I would have spelled it the way everybody else spelled it.
Correct.
So she's like, I wanted to make sure you got the job. So that's why I gave you the card. And I was like, oh, that was so sweet of her. Like, that was really sweet of her. But so you're correct. And when you say that, like, when you walk in, your energy or how you present yourself and the receptionist might pick up on it and blah, blah, blah. Because if I had came in like,
correct,
I would get nothing.
Okay. People got to understand is when you get knocked down, you got to get yourself up. You can't look for nobody to help yourself up. You got to get up yourself. In the 24 years, like I said, I received my GED, got my CDLs, had multiple good paying jobs, stuff like that with good benefits. My children motivates me. My wife motivates me. If they don't do it, I have enough to motivate myself. My duty as a young man is to try to help these brothers out. Like I said, just touch one person. That's all. Take one person. This is what my son, my youngest son, he sees in me. Like we travel, and
the baby,
my baby. That's right. Yeah. He see me. He watch, and I pay for people's meals, white, black, Chinese. What makes no difference. I pay for their meals. So we in Washington D.C. He said, Dad, can I pay for their meal? He seen me do it day in and day out. So your kids watch. They watch everything that you do. Everything. And trust and believe, my son tell me when I'm doing wrong sometimes too.
I'm going to end this. I want to thank you very much for your time and the information and your experiences. And hopefully this will help someone stay on track to trying to do better. So thank you again.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Anytime. We got to do this again.